It started with games. Simple things. Pixels, buttons, a bit of fun. Then, somewhere along the way, the big platforms moved in. Last year, $200 billion flowed upwards, away from the people who actually play. This year, they take it back. YOM, where players play games straight from your PC, not a data center in Virginia. Meet Tyler Pemberton. Yes, this looks dramatic, but he's perfectly fine. Tyler's offline. His PC isn't. 47 players streaming from his GPU right now. Even AFK, Tyler's rig is pulling its weight. He's making money in his sleep. Maybe this is what happens when gamers finally take control of their own world. Turn your idle GPU into passive income. YOM.net. Eat, sleep, earn, repeat.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's get into it. I am Jeff with YOM. I'm going to talk a little bit about RAMaggedon and explain to you some of the things that I've been reading this week that rightly cause all kinds of concerns for any of us who are in the gaming industry, who love it, who've been gaming for a long time, and who can see a change coming around that doesn't really look very positive for the gaming industry. And I mean, it's not alone with us, it's inflation, but even more than that. We'll get into all of this. Let me really quickly explain again. If you're not familiar with who we are at YOM, if you haven't checked out the timer video that plays in the beginning and plays our commercial, we are a decentralized cloud network. There's differences between centralized cloud gaming and decentralized cloud gaming. We'll get into all of this. Let me quickly give a little bit of project news. Usually what I do when I start our town hall is I bring up some images of Walter, our mascot. People generally know who Walter is, and online they share their own versions. I mean, thanks to AI, people can generate their own AI images, and then some people have just drawn with traditional media, which we also enjoy. Let me bring up. Let's see. Stop doing that. I'll bring up. So our quintessential Walter image is this guy here. This is Walter as we see him. He is a slightly overweight, rust-colored gorilla wearing jeans and a white t-shirt with the words YOM on it and our logo. He wears blue round sunglasses. So we don't have any images to share this week, but or today. We'll get some out on Friday, I'm sure. But if you are interested in getting involved with the community, one thing you can do is just go ahead and create your own image of Walter, put it out there. Let's get as many of those generated and passed around on social media as possible, pointing everybody over to what we've built over here at YOM. That is Walter. So usually I'll share some pictures, and I also can kind of do the community updates. Let me give you some project updates for people who are tuning in, who are familiar with the project, who are maybe following along and wanting to get some updates. We are in the process of doing updating the Rig Check app. So because we allow people to use their home gaming system, home rig, the home PC, to loan it to our network and earn passive income, we have created a Rig Check app that you log in and you check your rig to make sure that you can actually run a node with your system, so you're not buying anything without knowing what your possible earnings would be. That app is getting updated with even more functionality. So once we have it live, we'll let you know. It's going to be even more granular. And those people who have tested it once before, tested your system, who may have gotten back, no, your system isn't qualified. This new granular system might actually get you more qualified. The other thing that people have been asking a lot of questions in the community, we've been getting ready to do our token generation event, but we were stymied by the European regulations that came into effect in March. and we had to file lots of paperwork for the regulations. We've got them all filed. I think the last thing we've put in was for the DTI that is in the pipeline, and we're just waiting to hear back from the government on the regulations. So that is our community update. Let's get into the meat of today's conversation. This is about RAMaggedon, and it is, I mean, so what sent me down this path is that, let me bring that up over here too. This fella here, very smart individual, Ryan McCaffrey, who works out of IGN. He created, let me do this over here. Better if you see it large. Ryan McCaffrey put out this video. It was in addition to an article that IGN also posted, basically warning that, hey, with all these price increases, because I think it was Sony that just recently announced their price increase, but all these price increases for the current generation, plus the expected cost for the next generations and the delays on the next generation, really have the gaming industry in a crisis. We can't, gaming relies on expanding the audience. It's not just an individual game studio wants to get their game seen and played and purchased. I mean, that is certainly something. But the industry as a whole has to be able to bring in more and more players in order to expand, which is, we had a 10-year run where it was great. We were just gaining more and more players. Now it seems like people have kind of stagnated. The whole industry kind of stagnated. And one thing that's really playing into this is the costs of the current system. Now they're increasing them, and then the expected cost of the new systems and the way that they're trying to market it as a luxury item. Ryan does a great job, and I'm going to put the link to this video in the comments of our video here. So I advise you, it's only like a 10, 15-minute video. They do, of course, it's IGN. They do a stellar job on gaming news. But I would encourage you to go ahead and watch his quick video. Let's talk about what he brought up and why it's so important that we all pay attention if you're, again, a fan of the gaming industry. So what happened is with these price increases, it's not just, all right, so let me start from the beginning here. Xbox back in September brought their prices up, right? This is their gaming, the Series X is about 5 years old at this point. And it used to be when a console, as a console aged, Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft would drop the price of the console towards the end of its life as a way to kind of bring in people who maybe were waiting for a while, or they're getting ready to release their next generation of consoles, which they know is going to be a sticker shock. So they try to bring in people into their console just before they launch their newest version, and they do that by dropping the price to kind of get people in. So we've never seen this before. We've never seen where they said, well, the machine's getting 5 years old, so let's increase the price and see if we can attract more players. And you're not going to, right? You're not going to get more people to jump into the system. So again, this has been pretty stellar increases. We're talking now for a Series X at $650. So most parents aren't going to shell out that kind of money, even at Christmas time, for a console system. So now you're limiting the play pool to those people who have that kind of disposable income. And who already missed out when it was back at $600, didn't buy it then, and are thinking, well, now's the time to get in. Now it's $50 more expensive. PlayStation 5 went out and did the same thing too. Sony did the same thing. They, starting April 2nd, they decided to jack the price up. And I don't know if it's kind of small on the screen, you can't really see, but in the US, they're talking about now, again, $650 there for their systems as well. The idea of raising the price, and it was funny. So, as I tend to do when I get into these articles, I go right to the comments to find out what people are saying. And it's obviously people are upset about this. You guys are embarrassing is what Angie's saying. All you did this generation was close studio and increases prices on everything. You can't really put it all at the feet. I'm not going to put it all at the feet of the companies like Sony and Microsoft. Though if you follow my town halls, you'll see that I had no problem railing against Microsoft. But again, this is hardware costs, and it's happening not because the studios are getting greedy. It's because the hardware stuff has gotten very expensive. You're seeing with the rise of AI that GPU cycles and RAM is getting super expensive. It's gotten super expensive. The tariffs haven't helped matters at all. Obviously, the wars that are breaking out, that doesn't help matters at all. The shipping costs have gone crazy. So it's not really exactly their fault, but we do have to recognize that this is dangerous if we are talking about expanding the player pool. There was another comment. I'll see if I can find it again. Yeah, again, people were just basically saying the same thing over and over again. This is not the way that you handle an aging system, a 5-year-old system. Not to be left out, Nintendo is also saying that their price increase is inevitable. They're not going to be able to keep the Switch 2 at the price that they originally had suggested. And then you're seeing that people are talking already about the price of the PlayStation 6, $1,000, and they're starting to call it a luxury system. They're kind of trying to brand it as, well, it's for people who can really afford it. But that's a small play pool. And when game developers release their game and try to get it out there, they do count on large numbers of people adopting the game. At this price point, you're not even going to get large numbers of people even into the console. So getting them to adopt the game and it's going to be harder and harder for those game developers to get their game noticed. So where do we go with this, right? Kids are right. What kids are doing instead is the one device that they can't live without, right? We all kind of know this, is their phone. So the phone has become the medium for gaming, but you're not going to get that full AAA experience as much as they're trying to build better controllers for phone gaming, and there are obviously some better ways to put graphics on the phones. It's not going to be the same as playing on an Xbox. The only real solution to all of that was cloud gaming. And cloud gaming in current form, where you see Xbox Cloud or GeForce Now doing it, what they've done is they've created a central cloud gaming system that's centralized. If you're not familiar with the difference, what that means is they've got data centers where they host their games and they pipe the game out from that data center to the end user. This is okay for people who are close by and okay on a day that's not very busy. But on a Friday night, if you live any decent distance from that central server where you're going to be getting the signal from, you introduce lag, not just in the distance, which is inevitable because physics won't let you broadcast a two-way interactive stream fast enough. The distance is always going to be an issue. But then the server itself is not necessarily built. Most of these central servers are not really built for delivering games. GeForce Now might be the closest one to be able to do it, but even they can't get get the streams out of their buildings fast enough to be low latency. I think right now they're struggling to get below 35 frames per second. So how do you fix this, right? Well, the YOM company figured out, 5 years ago, the best way to do this is to get right at the edge with a compute. And how do you do that? Well, you got to go find GPU cycles that aren't being utilized. So that is everyone's gaming PC, people who have them at home, who have gone to bed at night, or they've gone off to work, or they're otherwise not using their gaming machine. The GPU cycles are just sitting unmined, unused. So if we can develop, and this is what we've done, develop a system that allows those people who have those gaming rigs to earn income, passive income, by putting their rig on our network, and then we use their rigs, or just the GPU and CPU, to get the signal out to the end user. So here you could be in, say, Atlanta with your PC, or you could be in, I don't know, say anywhere in the state of Georgia in the U.S. And play from somebody's gaming PC inside of Atlanta, and you've well cut down the distance to the processing, which is happening again on a gaming rig, which is also built to do games. So, anyways, that's a paradigm shift. That's the difference between a central server and a decentralized cloud gaming network, and that's again what we've built. Why is this really important beyond just for the speed of it and just better technology all around for cloud gaming? Well, one of the things that again it talks about in the IGN article is that there are so many other ways to pass time now for people who might have been the gaming audience back from when the console wars first started, way back in the days of the PlayStation and the GameCube and those systems. And now we're competing for attention for all the other hobbies. This is like your Instagram, your social media, your TikTok, all those other things that if you've got 25 minutes and you want to kill some time, you could just jump onto your phone and start doing these social medias. So the idea of downloading, installing, and sitting down to play your game, that's just more friction that people have kind of shunned away from. So you've got to make the game access as frictionless as possible. Well, with the cloud, with the cloud systems that are out there currently, it's still a login, sit at your computer, log in, and download and install the games. with the cloud systems, they don't have to necessarily download and install, but you've still got the problem with the lag. When we talk about the system that we built over at YOM, it's a fully frictionless system, because what we allow is for game publishers and distributors, developers, to get their game onto any URL, to host it inside of a Telegram group, inside of a Discord group, so we can allow for the access to be a simple one click and you're playing. This is a paradigm shift, but it's done intentionally, because we know that we're competing with a very a crowd, an audience who are looking for frictionless entertainment, ways to get in fast. And otherwise, the gaming industry is just going to lose more and more mind share to all these other quick access forms of entertainment. So what we've done is we've created it as easy as you would do a YouTube video. You've seen certainly YouTube videos embedded on websites. You've seen YouTube videos embedded into Discord and Telegram. That's what we're saying. Our link is an interactive link from our network inside of any of these programs, any of these services, which again just adds to the frictionless access, the quick access. And that is the paradigm shift that we're talking about. Our system is up and running. We're up in testnet right now. The mainnet should be going live within a month. We've expanded to, let me real quick, I'll show you the size of our network. And actually, before I do, let me point out, we've had a lot of articles recently get released that are talking about, we've caught the attention of a fair amount of industry people, which is great. I mean, we obviously, that's kind of what the point of this is. But a recent article was dropped, and I should share it with you. I'll put the link again inside of the comments inside of the YouTube video that we're posting here today. But this was from KuCoin. Did a deep dive onto what it is that we are building and the reasons why they're bullish where they are about the Deepin project. So if you're looking for a quick understanding, a quick article that really does a good job explaining what it is that we do and why we're breaking the barriers down to allow games to reach players in a much easier system than the current systems allow for, this is a great article to go into. So I would say jump in and see this one too. Let me bring up the comments, because I know we get some people watching. Make sure that I don't miss any of your questions. We can be found at www.yom.net, and from there we can take a look at. I'm going to probably need to log in up. We'll take that. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. I apologize. And bring this up. So here we are, YOM.net. We are a decentralized network, cloud gaming decentralized. And I'm going to bring up. Again, we're in. Oh, I've got the wrong screen. I apologize, everybody. Let me put that over here. We are in Europe, very strong. We're in North America, very strong. We've reached into South America. Asian Pacific areas, the next area we're gunning for. We are in the Middle East. We're in India as well. Africa is coming soon. As we're going to reach out to those areas as well. What we have again is a few games that are live right now because we're on testnet. We're adding more games as we go. You'll see. I should bring that up too. If you want to try some of the games that we have, I would suggest Roughneck Rumble. That one's a little bit addicting. So be careful, because you get stuck inside this one for quite a while. But a fair number of different games choices you can try out just to see how fast it runs from where you are. And again, we're expanding every day. If there are any questions, go ahead and throw them at me. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes to make sure that we don't miss anything that's important. So that is, again, I can't stress it enough. The RAMaggedon that IGN is talking about is a real thing. And the gaming industry, I've been in gaming for over 25 years now. A lot of friends of mine who are in the industry who are recognizing the same thing that we're recognizing, that the current model for getting games distributed, the current systems of the current console systems just are not going to serve to expand in the way that it has historically. And jacking up the prices at the end of a console's life is just madness. So one of the things that the IGN that Ryan talks about that I thought was really clever, I don't think this is actually going to be possible, but those gaming studios, or excuse me, those console creators could have taken the path of, hey, let's say decrease the RAMs out of our system. Let's maybe make the screen size smaller. There are cost savings ways to, in the case of the Switch, to perhaps reduce the cost so that they could pass that savings on to players and therefore decrease the cost of the consoles. I just think that that is a race against the inflationary costs of hardware. So I don't think you're going to see that winning out. But again, you're going to have people who you're going to have franchises, gaming franchises that stagnate because they're still trying to release. And with the delays of the new systems, the way it works is when you're developing a game, you're getting ready to launch on you want to launch on the new systems when it first release. So you're creating your build to match the specs of the new system. Well, if they delay that new system, now all that either you're going to delay the launch of your game, or you've got to do a split path and have a second version that's made for the prior generation, which many studios do. But it's a cost. It's a hit on cost for the development cost for those studios to keep like a PlayStation 5 version in development and also a PlayStation 6 version in development, to have those both working concurrently, because of the two systems the two games will they will share a lot, but then at times they'll have to diverge because you're going to want the PlayStation 6 version to take advantage of that hardware. So it's a cost thing. So every time when Sony delays the release of the PlayStation 6, that development cost is either going to have to be absorbed by that studio and hold on to that game, that release, for longer and longer, or they're just going to say we have to get rid of jettison the PlayStation 6. We're not going to be a release title, and then it'll concentrate on the prior generation. But realizing that the prior generation is pretty well played out because we're at the end of the generation's life. It's kind of a lose-lose every time that a console generation is delayed. So what we're encouraging people to do, or developers to do, is come find us, look at the ways that cloud gaming can solve your problems, and certainly a decentralized cloud, because we're so decentralized, because of the system, we're much cheaper than any kind of centralized system, because we don't have a big data center to build and maintain. We're not competing. You're not competing against AI for GPU cycles. Our system is built only for games. It is there's no the cost is only what we provide for passive income to the people who are running their nodes at home. So it's a much better system, and with much more access than you're going to have with any of the current cloud gaming offerings. Okay, I've talked quite a bit, and I have I've had a bit of a day. It's been crazy, exciting, but at the same time, it's keeping up with everything going on at YOM has been a challenge, just because so much is happening at once. We're kind of getting bombarded with requests, which is, of course, the best problem to have. It's certainly better than a poke in the eye. So find us on Twitter. You can find us on find us on X at YOM_official. You can find us over at YOM.net. And again, we have Telegram that's very active. We have Discord that's extremely active. Get involved in our Quest system. And we're just getting ready to start a new season starting May 1st. So this is kind of a good time to get an understanding of what YOM is and get involved, and then jump into the new Quest system. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you have any more questions, reach out to myself, or you can just hit info@YOM.net, and we'll get back to you with any kind of answers. RAMaggedon, it's more than just RAM. The hardware costs are just getting crazy, and it's going to, in fact, it's going to impact the entire industry, and we're here to help solve the problems. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you again on Friday. I do live streams every Wednesday in the evenings, 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then on Fridays at noon Eastern time, we're back on live, and generally have a guest. I think we're going to have a special guest this Friday from our team to talk about some of the business prospects that we've been hunting down, and the way that we're communicating between our tech team and our business team. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you again next on Friday. Cheers, everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Drink lots of water. I like to try to say that at the end of every broadcast.